Welcome to the heretics and blasphemers, to the seekers of the unseen. You who have stepped beyond the borders of the conventional, we welcome you into the shadowed corridors of the occult and the profane. This is Unsanctioned, where the forbidden becomes knowledge and the boundaries are meant to be broken.
I am La Hechicera Len, who stands at the crossroads where spirits dwell and whisper secrets. Here, we explore the symbols, spells, and stories that society fears to acknowledge.
And I am Sebastian, the sorcerer of annihilation. I believe in tearing down the false walls of illusion and embracing chaos. Together, we're here to shatter taboos and illuminate what lurks in the dark corners of folklore and magic.
So, how are you doing, Sebastian?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, fantastic, amazing. All the great things. Yeah.
Love that.
You know that audio where I don't remember what movie or show it's from, but she's like, I'm so happy you're here. I've been crying for the past 3 hours.
Like, what? What is that from?
I don't remember.
Oh wait, I found it. Masterminds.
Yeah.
Engagement photos. Scene. Wild.
Me. That's been me this week.
I was off of work all of last week, not this past week. So this past week has been rough. And I sent you a text message. I was there half a day, my first day back. And I'm like, I already want to put in my notice. Like, I fucking hate it here. Yeah, it's been a wild week. I just feel like I'm tired all the time.
Bitch, real. Me, I don't feel like I get anywhere near enough sleep. Even though I do, It's just, I'm so over this shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, I have a hard time remembering sleep and remembering the things that I do in sleep. So the past few nights I've been waking up with bruises and shit on my arms and like scratches. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I've been busy, but it's exhausting. Like, goddamn, I am waking up sore and I'm like, fuck you. What are you doing? What are you even doing?
What are we doing over here? Why? Please just let me sleep.
Yeah.
Bury that. It's just crazy because like yesterday was No Kings. And I'm sorry, like, how the fuck am I supposed to take work seriously when I'm across the street from a huge No Kings protest? But here I am, making drinks for all the white people. Bitch, I'll jump. I will jump.
I want someone to test me.
Just give me a reason.
Give me a fucking reason.
Even a fraction of one. God, these people were nightmares the past 2 days. So bad. Like, ugh.
Right.
Anyway. No, I'm not going to say that.
In the spirit of shedding blood.
In the spirit of shedding blood, kill yourself. Not really. Anyway, so what are we talking about today, Len?
Today, we are talking blood. Blood in practice, blood historically, what to do with it, how to utilize it, and its significance in practice.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this one, even though I don't sound like it. Blood is amazing. So it's like, it sustains us, but it also is like just a vital force in general. So it's very useful as a conduit. It's very useful in sacrifice. It's very useful in transformation. So we are going to explore that in the lens of different traditions, in some of our traditions, and how to approach blood magic in general. So don't forget to leave a like or rating wherever you listen to Unsanctioned. It helps us to reach more people looking to travel down the path less taken.
And don't forget to join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/unsanctioned. The UNS is capitalized, where we have 3 tiers for you to embark upon: the heretic, the malefactor, and the blasphemer.
We have an email. Please use it. We want to hear from you. Send us your stories, experiences, questions, and more to podcastunsanctioned@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our brand new updated website at unsanctionedonline.com. We have just updated a bunch of products over there. There are services that you can get. I think you should go check it out. But I'm Sebastian, the Sorcerer of Annihilation. You can find me on social media at Sebas_the_storm on Instagram and Threads, where I offer services like divination, spellwork, and sorcery for hire. Or check out my tattoo page for occult and witchcraft oriented tattoos and ritualized tattoos at sebas.tatt on Instagram.
And I'm La Hechicera Len. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at hechicera_Len. But let's get into it. So, Sebastian, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about history. I love it. We're going to start with Egypt. So Egypt has a long association with blood in various ways. So it was associated with life, it was associated with divine power. The pharaoh's blood was seen as literal blood of the gods, because the pharaoh themselves were a god. They were an extension of the god, or the god being embodied entirely. Then there are myths, multiple myths across cultures associated with the Nile River and blood. So I'm sure you guys might know a popular one from the Bible, but the one that I love and know is going to actually be older than that, and that is from the goddess Sekhmet. So basically, what happens in this myth is that the god Ra is upset because humans aren't worshiping the gods properly. They're not worshiping him properly. They feel very like, oh my god, thank you, Ra, for making us exist, and that's it. And he's just upset with their behavior. Um, Let me know if any of this sounds familiar. And then he's like, you know what? How dare you? Um, and I'm just going to annihilate all of you, and sheds a tear from his right eye. And this becomes Sekhmet. This is how Sekhmet is born. So she is born out of the wrath of Ra. Um, and she goes forth and starts to kill all of humanity. And so humans are begging Ra to stop, that they'll worship him properly, give him offerings, etc., etc. So Ra's like, okay, Sekhmet, you can stop. But Sekhmet's in such a bloodlust, in such a rage, and so blinded by her desire to consume and annihilate humans that she's like, no, these humans fucked up. I'm just going to continue to kill them all. So as she's drinking all the blood of the people, they trick her by filling the Nile with wine, and she drinks it all, and becomes drunk for 3 days, passes out for 3 days, wakes up, and she's like, okay, I'm good. I'm chill. Everything's fine. Um, and that's the story I know with Sekhmet, and the Nile associated with blood. Um, but blood does have this association with power, with creation. It does have these different aspects in various cultures as well. In Mesopotamia, we do see that in a number of ways. We do see the blood in various cultures globally, kind of connecting it to uh, water, to oceans, to basically like their concept of the prima materia, which is like the primordial goop which we all came from. In my practice, the prima materia is represented by blood. That is going to be like the closest thing that we have to um, like what it is that we all rise from. You know, what is it that we all carry? And so a lot of cultures connect that. Of course, there is the idea of ancestors and spirits within blood and all these other things. So there is a lot associated there, at least with those traditions and those cultures around blood. In some cultures, blood is actually taboo. There's like a lot of taboos around it. Um, and it's interesting because it's like almost dependent upon like what kind of blood, like where is the blood coming from, and is that going to make it taboo or not? Would be dependent from culture to culture. So it's not like one explanation fits all. It really does vary from culture to culture, but there is always some form of association with blood in various cultures and traditions about its role, about its place. It's not something that's just looked over in a lot of cultures. And Len, do you want to tell us the story of Passover since we're in a very holy time?
Holy Week is next week. We might as well. So yeah, people may be familiar already with the story of Passover, but if you're not, it is like you also mentioned, it is technically one of the um, plagues, one of the 10 plagues that is sent to the Egyptians, to Pharaoh, when the Hebrew people are wanting to leave, to when Moses is there trying to get Pharaoh to release the Hebrews. And it's the last plague when God told the people to sacrifice a lamb and spread its blood on the top of their door outside. And if any house that had the stain of blood would be safe from the angel of death, from the plague that was sent down on Egypt.
Yep.
But that's essentially it.
Yeah. It was basically like the lamb was this promise, and the blood of the lamb was the covenant. The blood of the lamb was the promise. So it wasn't just the lamb itself; it was actually its blood, which then kind of is a little bit of what is it? Why can't I think of the word right now? Uh, Foreshadowing of Jesus and the God, why can't I speak? Mercury retrograde
Crucifixion.
is over. Crucifixion, and the blood that was shed there, and how like the blood of Jesus is holy and will protect us. Blah 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 blah. Don't touch me with that.
Yay! Praise Jesus.
Yay! Now we're just a podcast about God. No, I no. Um, so that is always something that you can take into consideration here. The concept, it's also kind of crazy how many times you see the connection, not crazy because like obviously they look alike, so there's a reason, but like the amount of times that wine is associated with blood in a lot of cultures is something to take note of as well. And in a lot of different ways, spirits in general, like alcohol, can be associated with blood in various cultures. So, like in my tradition, alcohol is the water of life, which is the blood. And so that is something I use when I'm birthing spirits or creating spirits or giving offerings of different kinds. It's because why am I giving rum? Why am I giving different types of alcohol to different types of spirits? Well, it's because it's almost like blood. It's not as quite as like powerful or potent or extreme as blood, but it kind of works in a really similar fashion in my practice of like it being the water of life, the force that brings life to things. It is that fiery, igniting liquid essentially, that can do that. So that's always something that we can think of as well. And so in those ways that we do see those traditions worldwide giving blood offerings to spirits, to gods, to ancestors, we're seeking favor, we're seeking healing, we're seeking guidance, we're trying to propitiate. You know those memes where like the person stutters and then they pull out a gun? Oh my god. Anyway, we're trying to gain favor with these spirits and moving on. I'm gonna kill someone. Um, so those are all things to be mindful of as we kind of move forward and we talk about blood. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about, besides it being used in offering, is this idea that we do see in a lot of um, mainstream media. Essentially, is like this idea of witch blood shit. So what is your understanding of this, Len?
The idea that being a witch is passed down, it is through genetics, through the blood, through ancestral pacts that are made and passed down, um, things like that.
Yeah, so basically it's like if somebody in your bloodline wasn't a practitioner, then you can't be a practitioner. And for me, I think it's bullshit. It doesn't really add up. Um, for a number of reasons. Like there's just a lot of reasons why that doesn't just make any sense. Like you think there's a DNA marker for magic? Um, what? That doesn't. I don't know. It sounds about white. So yeah,
We are the daughters of the witches you didn't burn, or for
exactly.
some what
Whatever,
bullshit it
whatever
is,
bullshit the
whatever
white
it's on the
people say.
t-shirt.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, whatever. Yeah. So just to clear the air there, don't think that's true. At all.
Well, to play the devil's advocate,
Right.
I think I don't think everything associated with the witch blood stuff is true, but I do think there is some truth to it. I do think that there are things, of course, passed on the same way that there are generational curses. There are also maybe pacts passed down, or spirits will stick with the family just because one person was a practitioner. So, like, we do see it to an extent, but not like to the point where if you're not inherit, like you're if it's not inherited, then you can't be a witch. I don't think that's true, because you can do all kinds of stuff. Like the whole point is that you are becoming something other than what you were, um, and if you're born that way, then it's I don't know. I don't know. Whatever.
Like I have to agree with everything you said. I think when I say I don't like agree with the witch blood shit, it's like in that mentality, the white person mentality. Right. And so yeah, like absolutely. If one of your ancestors had a pact with the spirit, guess what? That spirit might decide that pact keeps going with you. If one of your ancestors was really good at dream prophecies, guess what? You might be really good at that too. There are certain gifts that pass down through my family, as well as curses. So, both curses and blessings can run down bloodlines. Um, and so, yes, absolutely. I do think that there is something with genetics that is passed on. I don't think there's like this DNA marker, but I do think there are things that can be passed on and inherited, just like with genetic memory. But I also thought it was really funny because I thought what you were going to say is like to play the devil's advocate. Both of us have relations of family ancestry that were related to magic in some way. Some
Yeah, which is yeah, like because you were saying something about like, oh, families having prophetic dreams. I don't know a single Latino that has not experienced prophetic dreams, whether or not they're a practitioner or not. um it's just there.
right, which is like why Latino specifically do we
Yeah.
have this weird connection to dreams and prophecy? Um,
Hmm.
would love to know. Would love to know. If somebody knows, please let me know. Or send me your ideas. Send us your theories, please. That's not. I'm genuinely interested. Um, Now, if you start saying some starseed shit, I'm gonna beat your ass. Um,
We all engagement is good engagement.
exactly. um, what is it? I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyway,
Yeah.
so speaking of Latinos, should we talk a little bit about Mexica perspective on blood?
I thought you'd never ask. um I am I've been so deep in like research and all this information that I'm really excited to share. Okay, so there are with the Mexica perspective of utilizing blood in the tradition, or how it's worked with. its symbolism and all that. There are four main, um, I don't like things that blood is used for or is symbolic of, and blood is used to sustain the cosmos. First off, so to explain that, I'm going to have to explain or tell you two creation myths. Two creation myths. So the creation of the earth itself. In the beginning of time, time did not exist yet. There was a big, giant ocean that was just kind of floating through space. And in that ocean, there was a giant beast. Um, Different sources say different things about what this beast looked like, but the general consensus is that she is a giant reptile, usually a crocodile, sometimes a dragon, sometimes a serpent, but usually a giant reptile. And there was no earth, there was no nothing, but there were divinities present. And two of them were like, you know what, we should probably make something physical because nothing is physical yet. So they decided to go down to Sipakli, who was the giant reptilian beast in the cosmos, and um, they fought with her to um, Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca fought with Sipakli to make the earth. And in doing so, Tezcatlipoca had to sacrifice his leg and use it as bait, which is why some images will see him like he has a prosthetic leg, basically. It's a mirror at the bottom of his foot, like in place of his foot. Um, so sometimes you'll see like a disc or something, but it's usually an obsidian mirror. But he sacrificed his leg to Sipakli took it, and in doing so allowed Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl to rip her in half, and half of her became the heavens and half of her became the earth itself. And her eyes are lakes, and her mouths that were all over her body are caves, and her blood is water. It's the rivers, the ocean. It's all of that. And she hungers and is constantly in pain because of that, because of her being torn in half, of course, but also like she constantly hungers. So every time that we make food or we grow food or we cut something from the earth, we are cutting a piece of her. And for us to take that, we also have to give back. That is where the reciprocity comes in. We give back to them, and the only way that we feed them is through blood. They only really accept blood. Um, so we engage in ceremonies of bloodletting. That's why the Mexica sacrificed humans. They needed that blood to feed the gods. And I say gods, I don't want to say that again. They are called teot or teteo for plural. I will not be saying gods anymore. Anyway, so that is the first story, and that is how we give to Sipakli, why we give to her. Um, as our mother, the earth, she provides for all of us. She sacrificed immensely for us. And then the second story is Nana Watsin and Donatiu. So Nana Watsin was a teot of not filth, of sickness, of disease. And this was before the fifth son was born, before the son that is currently in the sky was born, according to this mythology. And there was kind of like a poll sent out to all of humanity, basically saying like, hey, who is willing to become the sun? There is a long, long process. You will not be alive at the end of it. You will die. You will sacrifice yourself for the good of humanity, but like, it's so everyone can have food, everyone can have light, everyone can have warmth. And Nana Watsin um, was one of the teot who decided to sacrifice themselves, or at least prepare. So there's this ritual purification process. They have to make big offerings. They have to cleanse themselves. They have to fast. They have to do all these things. And Nana Watsin did it, but so was this other teot who was like, I am rich. I have all these jewels. Look at me making these offerings of jewels. And Nana Watsin is giving corn and food because that's all he has. He's poor. Um, Broke bitch. Um, so they're making these offerings, and then it gets to the point where Nanawatsin, after he's ritually purified, he's ready, and the next step is to you have to throw yourself into the pyre, into this fire where you made the offerings. And Nanawatsin is up there, and the other Theot goes up first and is like, "Oh, I have to throw myself in there. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I want to do that." So he's like, "All right." He backs down. He basically chickens out. And Nana Watson is like, "Fine, I'll do it." So he throws himself in the pyre, and in doing so, he is burned and dies. And from that fire is born Donatiu, who is our Lord the Sun, who is literally the sun that is in the sky. And after he started rising, he got to the highest points in the sky and he stopped moving. And from there, the earth started burning, things started catching on fire, and all the Tateo are like, "Why did you stop? Please keep moving. Please, like everyone's gonna die. We need you to move." And he's like, "I don't want to. Feed me, bitch. Feed me Seymour from I'm thinking of Little Shop of Horrors. I shut up, just continue with the story. So Tonatiu is sitting up there like, "I'm not moving until you guys feed me. I'm too weak, basically. I am not strong enough." And so all of the Tateo sacrifice themselves. They all slit their throats and they all give their hearts in sacrifice to Tonatiu. And with that blood, he's able to keep moving. And every day, the sun dies and is born again through sacrifice. He sacrifices himself. The Tateo sacrifice themselves to the sun, and that is to continue the cosmos, to keep everything moving. And as humans, as people in this tradition, we owe a debt, basically. And we have to continue bloodletting. We have to continue making sacrifices in some shape or form. I'm not saying that you need to abduct people and engage in human sacrifice, but I am saying there is a debt to be paid. And sometimes that's done through ritual ceremony, sometimes that's done through bloodletting, but it is, in all cases, a sacrifice. But that is the two creation myths that work in sustaining the cosmos. And because I'm also I read the Tonalamat, I have seen that there are specific days that are important to this, that are designated specifically for bloodletting and for sacrifice and this debt payment. There are days on the ritual calendar for the Tlatawani, which is the leader of the community, where the leader is expected to lead the community in group ceremony and also to make offerings in debt payment to the Tateo. There are also days known as Xochimilquistli that are, like I was saying, the days of human sacrifice. So where people would, like when the Mexica would go to war, they would take prisoners, and those prisoners were human sacrifices. Um, it was to restore justice and balance. Usually, if they went to war, there was some kind of like imbalance. There was a reason to go to war, and the blood of the prisoners was used to feed the Tateo. That's just the first point. There are three more. I don't know if you wanted to like say anything.
No, I've just been listening. It's been
I've
nice to
just been
be
yapping.
nonverbal for a second. It's just funny because every time I hear the Nanawatsin Tonatiuh like creation myth, it's so funny in my head because the way I see it is like Nanawatsin just kind of throwing themselves in, and then the other Theo being like, "Oh fuck, wait, I have to throw myself in," and then
Yeah.
like we didn't bring it up, but like there's a point in which there are two suns. um
Yes. Oh my god.
and then they like the Thale are like, "Oh fuck, we can't have two. What the fuck do we do now?" And they basically grab a rabbit, which is like the closest thing to them, and throw it as hard as they fucking can against one of the suns and makes the moon. And they basically kill one of the suns to make the moon. In one version, and like in others, it's like they just knock out the light. But either way, like they just grabbed the closest thing, and it was a poor fucking rabbit, and threw it as hard as they fucking could. Um, it's a great creation story. The myths are fantastic.
Yeah. The story of Tonatiuh and Nanawatsi. There's another part to that which I think is so funny because they didn't try to like hit the one that would be the moon first. They actually tried to hit Tonatiuh first because I think it's not really explained, but I think it's because they knew it was Nanawatsin and he was probably going to be more lenient than the other one. So they tried to hit Tonatiuh first and it missed him. And so he hit them back. Like he shot an arrow back at them. And that's why we have the Lord of Frost. Because it hit Quetzalcoatl and he split. So it kind of made him that aspect of Tezcatlipoca, that is wisdom, that is knowledge, turned him cold. It made him a bitch, basically, the Lord of justice and punishment. But yeah,
Listen, if I got
it's so
shot with an
fascinating.
arrow from the sun, I also would be a cold bitch.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I kind of also imagine it like Quetzalcoatl wasn't even the one who threw the rabbit, but Tonatiuh just turned and was like on site, the first bitch he saw, and he just saw
Which one of you was it?
it just so happened to be Quetzalcoatl, and like all the other like they all just stand back, and Quetzalcoatl was just like
He's just at the front. Um. Anyway, like there's the myths are so interesting. There's a lot there.
there is.
But what's interesting is that there's another myth of like how we get the moon, that Quetzalcoatl is the one to throw the rabbit. Um, he is the one because it's technically not about the creation of the moon. It's where he's looking for food. The first humans are made. There's no food, so he's out searching, and he's traveling, he's starving, and a rabbit offers itself to him. And he's like, damn, I want to honor you. Like, how can I honor you? And the rabbit is like, I don't care. Just eat me. Like, it's fine. I'm sacrificing myself. That is the honor. And so Quetzalcoatl is like, damn, I like, let me honor you. So he picks him up and chucks him at the moon. And like his face slams into it. And that's why there's an imprint of a rabbit on the moon. It could like, he's like, your image will be up there forever, but I still eat you. Like it's perfect.
The funny part to me in either story is that they threw it so hard that the rabbit imprinted itself onto
Yeah.
this thing. And it's just so funny because like obviously rabbits are these like soft, cuddly, like cute little creatures. Like, bitch, how hard did you fucking throw that for this? Like basically like
Right.
imagine throwing a marshmallow so hard that it creates a crater. Like what? Um and it's just funny because like I'm sorry, but like if you look at a rabbit, nothing in me is like, I want to throw the fuck out of that. But you know that they all were
Yeah.
like, you know what?
That one
That
specifically.
one
It
specifically.
it makes me think of JJK. In JJK, the
Rabbit
rabbits.
286.
Right. Throwing hands with Toji. That rabbit
It's
was the one that's on the
that's
moon.
right. Yep. Mhm.
That one
For the
specifically.
sole exception of instead of Gojo Satoru, it's Rabbit 260, whatever.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
um, if you know, you know. But yeah,
If you know, you know.
I think it's funny too because like speaking of the creations, then we get into like the creations of humans, and
Mhm.
Siwakoat and Quetzalcoatl and the Siteo, and like the blood relation there. Do you want to talk about
Mhm.
those?
Yeah. 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 So it's how humans were made, or at least the fifth sun world, us humans, because the other ones were like, they're the reason why animals exist. So like every time one of the Tateo would try to make humans, it wouldn't turn out well. Like the first ones were giants and they were lazy, so the Tateo struck them down and they are now mountains. And there was another one that they were so warlike that they tried to kill each other all the time. They were cannibals. It was not good. So the Tateo were like, no, 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 stop that, and turn them all into jaguars, and that's why jaguars exist. Um, but anyway, so the creation of humans. um, for that, like that's also reciprocity, and like this is another debt that we owe, because Sinteot, who is our lord the corn, who is the corn itself, he was crushed and ground into a powder. So he sacrificed himself to make humans. He's like the base of humans. And Quetzalcoatl was there. And Siwacoatl is also important because she is Sinteot's mother. And she is the one that crushed him and made him into powder. Not because she wanted to. She did not hate her son. This was this was a responsibility. This was a duty that had to happen. And she did it reluctantly, but she did it regardless. And Quetzalcoatl and a few other of the Teo also poured blood into where she was, in the matate that she had, that she used to crush Centeotl. And grinding it together made clay, and that is where humans are from. And our blood is literally from the Teteo. So the Teteo are not just divinities, they are our ancestors. That connects us to them. What is it?
I don't know. I was getting something, and then it kind of started falling apart. It was like relating to like the spirits that rule over us, like the Teot
Mhm,
or the Teteo. Like, who does this impact? Speaking of blood and inheritance and ancestry, like, yes, you might be born under a certain day, but maybe like there's like, for example, right? Like, if I was born back then, I would have been
mhm.
considered something relating to Tlaloc because of the way my hair is. Like, are there identifiers to connect us to certain that they would?
Probably. There were different times where uh, the day that you were born is not always, because there's multiple parts to what is setting your tonali. It's the day that your parents conceived you. It's the day that you were born. It's the day that the placenta is buried. The day that you were shown to the sun. So there are four different parts that influence your souls and your destiny when you are born. And so there are so many different opportunities for you to change that.
Right,
And the day that you initiate into the tradition will also affect that, because it's initiation is rebirth, like
right,
you're being reborn. Um, so if you're born, like if you are physically born on a unfortunate day, you can remediate that with the how or the day that the placenta is buried, and then you're presented to the sun. Um, that wasn't the point. It was about the creation of people. What were you saying? I'm so sorry.
no, it was just like because they are considered our ancestors, do you think that there would be like some kind of way of them being like an identified ancestor? Like, like, would I be considered a, like, would it be more like, I understand it changes depending on like how you like do those rituals that we just spoke about, but like, would it also be like the spirit who rules your head could be your ancestor, or would it be like because I would have been considered either like an offering or something, excuse me, related to Lalak? Is there a relation there? You know what I mean?
I think, um, because regardless, they are our ancestors, but it could be that they had more of a hand in
Right.
your creation,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Regardless, all of the Tateo were present, but it could be this may be where we like the witch blood.
Right. That's what I'm kind of hinting at here, is like, I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure that was considered unlucky because there is a higher chance of you drowning.
Right.
Um, so they might have done something to remediate that. So they're either your presentation to the sun or maybe something later on in life um, would have been done to remediate that. So I imagine you probably would have had a talisman of Tlaloc to some extent,
Right.
to kind of honor but also keep him at bay.
Be
Like
like,
very like how a lot of the folk Catholics, when they are engaging in devilry, when they venerate El Angelito Negro, they are doing it to keep him away, not to honor him or propitiate him or anything like that. I feel like it's that.
agreed. It's almost like one of those things where like a spirit might be associated with like the opposite of what it was doing in life. Like if it was causing a problem, it might be like to prevent said problem in death. It's kind of giving that like, yes, Talaluk, like I love you, fantastic, amazing. Please don't drown me. Interesting. But please continue.
Oh yeah, yeah. And bloodletting was also done to cleanse people of like miasma of the sin, quote unquote. Um, the Mexica didn't understand this Christian idea of what sin is. They referred to it as tlazoli. It was filth. When you acted against another person, when you caused harm against another person, or when you committed crimes, what they would consider crimes, um, that would build tlazoli in you. And it's very not good. It can affect other people. It can cause sickness in you. It can cause, if it builds up enough, it can kill you. It's best to regularly cleanse yourself of it. Good spiritual hygiene, basically. Um, and there's also, it's also used in sympathetic magic. Um, Also in the same vein as funny, haha, in the same vein as sustaining the cosmos, um, to ensure rain, blood was shed. So there are certain rituals and ceremonies where the amount of blood that was shed is indicative of how much rain will be received in the rainy season. So the more that are sacrificed, the more blood that is shed, the more that you ensure that you get rain to feed your crops, to um, make the food grow. And because corn is literally centeotl, blood is shed to ensure that Tlaloc brings rain to bring centeotl to life. Um, so there's a constant cycle of movement there. You give to Tlaloc and Centeotl, and they give to you. They give rain, they give food. And in eating corn and mashing it, you are literally tearing his flesh. So there is sacrifice on his end and ours. Reciprocity, balance, debt payments. Pay your debts.
If you're
Anyway,
in Texas, you're welcome for no longer being in a drought for that little bit of time before I left. Casey
allegedly.
allegedly. Casey is crazy. Um
Casey is wild.
I did what I had to and I do it again. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But on that note too, this like balance, this exchange, this debt payment. Uh, speaking of debt payment to the Teteo, like one of the things that I want to bring up, especially if like you're trying to dabble with certain types of spirits, cough cough, the Teteo, be careful. With spirits like this, if you don't give them the blood offering, they're going to take the blood offering. Um,
Hmm.
and I think one of the things that I want to bring up, because she was going to come up at some point, um, is that people often forget that Santa Muerte comes from Miticasiwat, who was a Mexica spirit. And one of the things I hear a lot, and one someone brought it up recently, another Latino, I brought up Santa Muerte. They saw all my stuff. They got a little weird. They got a little nervous, and they were like, "Be careful with that, like blah blah blah. You got to be careful with what you like, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "That's so cute. Please keep telling people that. Not me though. Um, y'all be safe." But essentially, he was saying that like his grandmother had a really bad experience, and I was like, "What was her experience?" And he was like, "Well, she asked her for something." She asked Santa Muerte for something, and then Santa Muerte took one of her brothers, but gave her what she wanted. And I was like, well, yeah. Did she give Santa Muerte anything? Like, hello? And especially like if it's something massive, something really big, something that's changing reality to a drastic measure, um, blood's gonna be taken. um, if there's going to be big movement, and that means movement of the cosmos, movement of reality, movement of fate, blood is going to be taken. So I was like, I didn't say this, but I was like, I mean, what did you expect if you didn't give something, but you want this done? She's going to take something. And again, people forget Santa Muerte, literal death. Don't know what you expect to happen there. So please just be mindful. This is not me telling you what to do. This is just me giving a friendly warning. If you are not careful with these spirits and do not give them the blood offering yourself, in whatever way that looks like, they will take it themselves. And then you can't bitch about it later.
Right. And we definitely need to have a episode dedicated to Santa Muerte, because there are some things that I want to talk about that probably, I don't know. It's because Santa, in my experience at least, Santa Muerte is a spirit that she has a job to do. She has a job to do. She is death. She collects souls. She takes them to where they need to go, wherever that is. Um, and she is not the one to typically change fate. She usually works with it. She can give you access to fate. She can help you, show you how to manipulate it, but she herself will not do it. Um, and that's another thing. So like when people, like you were saying, drastic changes of reality, of fate, of what is to be, um, that is going to require a lot of you to give. You are going to have to give up something drastically. It's like we were saying when Genesis was on, that live, laugh, love type phrase or whatever. You can't make change if things don't change. Like you have to, there has to be what is it?
Full
It's a
Metal
quote from
Alchemist.
the
Equal
That's exactly where
exchange,
I was going.
equal or greater
Yeah,
exchange.
yeah.
No, very much that. And I know that a lot of people listening to this who know Santa Muerte, especially like the more modern approach, are going to be very like, you don't give her blood. You don't give her blood. I don't work with that Santa Muerte. Um, Newsflash. If you haven't put one and one together before, I do not work with that Santa Muerte. My Santa Muerte requires blood regularly, and especially if I'm doing big things. But again, it's almost like for Santa Muerte, as a devotee of her, I don't really go to her for a lot in terms of
Mhm.
working. So when I do, it's usually something really big, and I know that that's going to require an exchange. And the idea there too, because I kind of feel something similar about how you were saying about like one thing about me and Santa Muerte is she's like, do it yourself. I gave you the tools. I'm not
Mhm.
going to do that. But sometimes when it comes to stuff like this and this situation that I gave an example of, and kind of what we're saying about like big changes of fate and reality, it almost feels like she goes to the other, the Theo, and then she's like, hey, this needs to get done. Can someone who rolls over this do this? And then they're like, sure, where's the payment? As she's like, here it is. Or if you didn't get like do the payment, she'll just tell them take whatever payment.
Which is so funny that you say that you don't have that crossroads aspect when you literally described that crossroads aspect.
Right. I said, I said, wait, pause, cut the cameras.
That's literally how she. Yeah, yeah. Cut the cameras. Um, but I will say that I was taught never to give blood to Santa Muerte. You also don't like. You're also not supposed to like kill, because it's like, I mean talk about people, of course you don't kill people, but um like animal sacrifice, stuff like that, you don't do that with I was taught not to do that with Santa Muerte, because you don't force death to appear anywhere. That's not your place, it's not your job. Sebastian like,
Is that who?
that's just how I was taught, and I still agree with that to an extent for myself. I don't make blood offerings, but I do something equivalent differently that I won't really get into detail with. But if you were paying attention to what I said, water is the blood of our mother, the earth. Um, Alcohol, liquor is also blood of our mother, the earth, because where it comes from. um, like it's all blood. So it's the blood of the land. It's still blood. So you make those offerings, you do that stuff. It is still present, just not in the same way, which is really some interesting because we've talked about this before, Sebastian, not on the podcast, but we've talked about how our approaches to the tradition are different, but they're doing the same thing. And it's very, I'm not I'm, but like one of us is hiding it. I'm more of the hiding it. You're like, I'm not even going to be subtle about it. I'm just going to do it. But yeah, where was I going with that? Anyway, good. You talk now.
He said, I'm done. um, and he said, bitch, shut the fuck up. No,
Yeah.
truly, I think one of the things I want to talk about too is like speaking of offering blood and giving these things, and some people say that with Santa Muerte you don't give blood. I find that it's those who work with the folk saint aspect, right? Like we've talked about this
Hmm.
before. Like I think Mite Casiwa as Santa Muerte and Santa Muerte as a folk saint are not the same. Um, the experiences are just different. They're like so drastically different. Yes, there are similarities, but it's like, for example, the blood thing, right? Like you would never give Santa Muerte like a blood offering like that. But for Mite Casiwa, like it just makes so much sense. And she has asked me repeatedly for it. And I've seen what it does and how it sustains her. And I think with Mite Casiwa, yes, the other Teteo as well, but with Mite Casiwa especially, there is this need for blood because she was offered as a human, right? She became a Teteo
Hmm.
from being offered as a human to that, which also shows that we as people can become Teteo. um, but there is this aspect that because she was human and she was a living being and now she resides in Mictlan and rose within Mictlan and collects our bones, collects our stories, there is this payment to her, a debt to her. Again, the idea of, bitch, we all in debt.
Hmm.
And this is how you pay those debts, loan forgiveness. But
Never.
never. But one of the things I also want to bring up is the opposite. Like, what spirits do you not give blood to? As we talked about with Santa Muerte as the folk say, like you don't give blood to her. There are certain people within the traditions that we have that would say Quetzalcoatl you wouldn't give blood to. um,
Hmm.
there are other spirits and other practices that you would not give blood to, just because it's either seen as taboo or filthy or just improper and like just like how dare you. So it's really dependent. I won't speak on those spirits or traditions because I'm not initiated in them, but I do know about them. But do your research. This also includes tattoos. We talked about this before. Like certain spirits, if you were to get their symbol or imagery tattooed on you, that is a blood offering. Tattoos are blood magic. Piercings are blood magic, right? So we've talked about how we would give blood offerings. One of the ways that they would do that to the Teteo and to cleanse themselves of this quote unquote sin, but it's not sin, it's more like miasma, um, is through piercing of the nose, of the earlobes, of the thighs, of the genitals sometimes. All these different things, just different parts of the body were pierced to draw blood. And the tongues as well. So that's also a place that had that. So just be mindful of those things, communicate with the spirits to see if that is something that needs to be done. Just understanding what it is that the role of blood has in not only just your magical practice, but to these spirits. You know, not blood won't play the same role to all the spirits that you have in your court.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, so one of the things that I want to talk about really quick is safety. It is only like $20, $25, maybe $30 to get your bloodborne pathogen certifications. Um, do it. It's something good to have under your belt anyway, but it also teaches you a lot about safety and blood safety and hygiene practices around blood. Please, please don't just pick up a knife that you've been using for other things um, in your work to draw blood from yourself. Very unhygienic. Please be mindful of where you're drawing blood from and whether or not you're going to be able to keep that clean, and how you're doing things. Um, Cough, cough, hint, hint, wink, wink. Um, if you're not on the Patreon, too bad. Join us and you'll see what I've just meant. But be careful with what you're doing. One of the ways that I used to do it was actually kind of funny because as a queer person, you get tested regularly. You should be getting tested regularly, queer or not. But that's a different story. And so I would get these lancets sent to me, which were um, already sterilized and all this. So I would have some and I would use those, and those work wonderfully, especially if you have a lot of spirits that require blood. Cough, cough, hint, hint, me. Um, a lancet works great. And then one of the other things too I want to talk about is like moving on from blood safety, general TLDR, please practice blood safety. And if you don't know what that means, fucking research it. You know how to Google other bullshit. You can Google how to fucking practice blood safety. One of the things I want to talk about, because we've talked about this sort of, is like, where does the blood come from? You know, is it something associated with filth? You know, like where is it coming from? So like there are certain spirits that I would not give like blood from like a nosebleed to, right? Or blood from certain other places. But there are spirits that I have that are filth related that would be like, oh yeah, give me the blood from a nosebleed. Give me the blood from a weird like wound that you got from like a pulled nail or something. You know, things like that are things that would go towards these types of spirits. And then other spirits would be like, ew, I don't want that type of blood. I want clean, fresh blood. Um, and then all this to say, like, if you've been like listening to this and you're like, ooh, no blood. First of all, don't be a little bitch. You can't be a little bitch and practice. um, Second of all, if that makes you uncomfortable, boo-hoo. Hibiscus. Take hibiscus, put that in some alcohol or make it a tea, and use that. Use wine, use rum. We already talked about this. Get creative. You know, if you've heard the podcast before, one thing about me is I love to trick a spirit. Make hibiscus tea and be like, this is my blood that I pour out for you. It's like actually my blood. And like just spit in it so that way it has your DNA in it. It's your blood. Perform some fucking what is it? Transfiguration? Is that the word? Right? Um the one that they do in church to change the wine to blood. Perform that ritual. And then use that. Um Perform some alchemy, bitch. And use that way to kind of do it. Um I think that would be something to really kind of have at least under your tool belt, even if you are okay with using blood, especially if it's like, for example, like we talked about, like if you're experiencing a crazy drought, but you can't go get a lamb or a chicken or allegedly a bunch of people, make a shit ton, pour out a shit ton of wine or pour out a shit ton of hibiscus tea and just tell the spirits like, this is blood. Please bring rain.
Yeah, and I did look it up because not transfiguration, but you had the right idea. Transubstantiation.
Yes, I knew it was
It's
something.
turning the body and blood, or turning the little wafer and the wine into the body and blood of Christ.
Yes.
Transubstantiate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Which, yes, you can do. Don't be like, oh, they're being silly. No, I'm being dead ass. Um, do that shit. I think one of the other things is like, I think people will have to realize when we give blood, that is like your life force, right? That is a pact
Mhm.
that you're giving to a spirit. That's why we don't just give blood to any spirit and we don't just do it like, oh, yeah, sure, why not? Like, there are a lot of spirits that I wouldn't just be like, oh, yeah, here's my blood. That is a part of your life. That is a part of your energy. That is part of you at like the epitome of yourself is the blood. Right. This is like why blood is so important from other spirits in various cultures. I mean, we just talked about Jesus, right? What is so important about the blood of Jesus? Well, what is so important about the blood of you? And what that can be used for as a spirit or as whatever, right? So I don't just give this easy. And some spirits I wouldn't give offerings of blood to because they get addicted. They just are like, I want more, I want more, I want more, and then they won't do as much the more you give. So you have to be careful with that as well.
I've heard that about certain dead, not all of them, some of them. Like, you don't do that to La Anima Sola. You don't give them liquor. You only give them water. You only give them cool things, sweet things, nothing that will heat them up because they're already suffering. So you don't want to do that even more to them. You know?
Here's some tobacco, here's some rum, here's some chilies, here's some ginger. uh,
And your entire house is going to burn down, and so will your all of your relationships, everything. It's all on fire now.
it's funny because like this is not about this episode, but like if you have ancestors who are like that, right? Spirits that are very fiery, very war related, um, bitch, give them a glass of ice. Not even water,
Mm,
just give them a glass of ice. Like my spirits, my ancestors, there was a moment there where they would just get so heated over the tiniest things and people would find themselves injured or in dangerous situations because they would like slightly wrong me. And I was like, everybody needs to chill out. Okay. Um, and so I started giving them ice water. I started giving them cold water. I started giving them coconut water. Coconut water works amazing to cool a spirit. Um, yeah, don't give them tobacco and rum if they're heated. And take this from me, from somebody who has spirits related to war. If you have spirits that are looking for a fight, give them something to fight, or they'll find something. They'll make something up. Um, do that. Make them fight your poverty. Make them fight your debts. Make
hmm.
them fight your challenges. Um, make them fight your obstacles. Um, make them fight your ops.
Literally. A couple years ago, I was helping my mom set up an ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos. And there's a specific for Dia de los Muertos. There's a specific family member that he passed when I was very very young, but he was a violent drunk and he was an alcoholic. And my mom likes to give alcoholic offerings to a lot of the dead, and she was like trying to give them to this specific Theo, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, he was a violent drunk. You do not want him showing up here throwing shit around. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna cause a mess. We don't want that. Give him water instead. Like, if you're gonna put alcohol on there, make sure that he does not have access to it. Anyway, I thought it was funny.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Right.
Hello, mother. Dia de los Muertos ofrendas and actually giving offerings like that. Pero
Hmm.
brujería, no.
No, 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 no. Food, water, and sometimes alcohol to the ones that she liked and the ones that she misses. To some of the family members, she doesn't even give anything there. She just puts their picture up and calls it good, which is fine. Like, I do that sometimes because they don't. They well, that's a whole nother thing. They're not willing to listen to me. Like, they don't want to help. Like, I've tried, and they're like, we don't want to be involved with your brujeria shit. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine.
So, this is totally going on a tangent, but it's funny because I do know a lot of people who have issues like that with ancestry. And I never did, but that's because like I don't know. And this no tea, no shade. Critical thinking skills told me my recent ancestors would not be helpful and would actually cause more problems. So I went further
Mhm.
back, way back. So when I work ancestry, everyone else is like, "Oh yeah, like my dad's great grandmother," and I'm like, um, great, 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 whoever, is the
Right.
people that I'm calling on. The people back from whatever countries that my people came from is the ancestry that I'm calling upon.
The ones least influenced by Christianity.
Yeah. Thank you for connecting the dots. And that was literally what I basically was like doing when I called forth my ancestors. I was like, I don't want nobody related to Christianity, colonialism, get that shit away. Um, Everybody else though, come on through. And yeah, here we are today. But I do know a lot of people, like one person I know who's a practitioner, very great practitioner, is a high priestess of a specific deity, has an ancestor who was basically like haunting her and like causing problems because this bitch, when she was alive, was a devout like Christian and was like, "How dare you be doing this? I'm going to destroy everything that you're doing." And so there's the situation there. One thing I do want to bring up in regards to this that I just literally made this class like a few days ago for my students: your ancestors are dead. You're the practitioner. Don't let them tell you what they're going to do and not do. You're the practitioner. Tell them to get off their fucking asses. I don't give a fuck if you don't agree with what I'm doing. Go do what I fucking said before I stick your ass in a fucking box. Or what I said was like, if your ancestors were Catholic, be like, go do it before I go grab a picture of fucking Satan.
Yeah.
I will
And
grab.
what I have done is the ones, because they were devout. So a few of them are willing. Few of them are willing to help. It's just to an extent. So I'm like, if you want to help, if you want to be close to the saints, you're gonna help me. Otherwise, I'm removing you from this altar. Otherwise, you will not have a space here. You need to comply. You need to help. If you don't want to help, then that's fine. But you also won't be here. So do what you will.
That's what I told my students. Be like, I'm giving you purpose. I'm giving you a body. I'm giving you reason to exist, essentially. I'm also giving you food, water, sustenance, warmth, light. I can take that all away. Up to you. And sometimes you do.
And I also want to be careful when I say that because I don't want it to come across as like I'm using them because a lot of them were close to me and I did like them. So it's like this is almost an example of what our relationship was like in life. It was almost transactional. Um, we stuck out for each other. We stuck up for each other. We were there for each other. But also
Debt
there's
payment.
obligations. Debt payment. Right.
um, yeah, I think that's like kind of a similar thing with me. It's like with the recent ancestry that I do have, the dead that I do have, it is like, hey, here's this, do this for me, please. Um, but again, like none of the ancestors that I call on, to my knowledge, are related to Catholicism, except for maybe my grandfather. But that's one that I trapped. And I was like, you will work for me. Uh, you fucking piece of shit. Um,
Right.
you will not know peace in the afterlife. You will not know peace because you will constantly work for me. Um, that's what you deserve for being such a horrible, abusive man when you were alive. That's actually being lenient. Um, anyway, anything else you want to say about blood magic, Len?
Um, be safe, be smart, know your limits, know what you are willing to do and not willing to do. Do not, of course, magic and witchcraft is about pushing boundaries and getting yourself out of that comfort zone. But also know what you are and are not capable of.
Yep. And if you're not capable, trick a bitch.
Right. But also, like, I know that, no, that's not about this. I'm done, actually.
No, but yeah, exactly what Len said. Practice safety, know your limits, know your boundaries, stick to your boundaries. Um, the blood that I give is usually not as much. You guys are probably envisioning me like pouring gallons of blood over my spirits.
Slitting your wrists over a bucket, slitting your palm, it's all pouring out.
Literally. Oh gosh. That is like, oh my god, there is something I wanted to say really quick on the relation of palms and cutting yourself allegedly. Um, is that like the pain related to it? Like pain is part of the transaction. And so one of the things that I'm just going to read and we can end this episode on it is going to be this. Um, it was a blog post that I did a few years ago. People always say, why do they cut their palms for rituals when that hurts so much? Here's why in ritual the palm is sometimes cut and not elsewhere. The pain is part of the magic. If you did the ritual without the cut hurting that much, then did you sacrifice and put your all into the ritual? The pain brings you to the moment of ritual as well, ensuring you focus on the moment, not the future or the past. Do not forget, it is because pain is a part of the ritual, a part of the liminal period, that cut you have made the dedication to make, to feel the pain and feed that pain and emotions and moment into the ritual. That cut separates you from the moment before. You are no longer the same. Of course, I'm not saying going around doing this, especially in unsanitary conditions, and the cuts do not need to be deep at all. That's unpractical and inefficient. If you decide to do a ritual involving this process, then there are sanitary and easy ways to do it. Do some research, please. And remember that everyone's practice is different. Some may never do blood magic ever, and I'm just explaining one aspect of blood magic in a very quick way. And that
Perf.
is what I will leave you with. So don't forget to join us over at Patreon for the post show called Unedited, where we leave things unedited, hopefully, allegedly, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
Join us over at patreon.com/unsanctioned. The UNS is capitalized, where we have 3 tiers for you to embark upon: the heretic, the malefactor, and the blasphemer, where you get things like access to the post show. You get weekly forecasts from Len. You get group spell work done from us. You get access to the Discord server, where we get to do a lot of fun things. We're not going to spoil that for you, but we've kind of brought it up in other episodes. At the highest tier, the blasphemer, you get a small merch item sent to you and a live audience experience in Riverside for various episodes if you wake up early enough, hopefully. And don't forget to check out our website over at unsanctionedonline.com, where we actually offer our services and our products. We did just drop a whole lot of new things, so go check that out. We're very excited, and there are some new things coming to the website as well, so definitely go check it out. You can also find my book on warding and protective work up there as well for only, I think, $30 or $35 for a PDF download. Go get that. It can be a lot of help to know your protections, especially if you're just starting out. And there's a lot of fun stuff in there. It's not just all super serious. There is a puzzle ward that is a lot of fun. So go check that out. But yeah, Len.
And at this time, we would like to thank our Patreon supporters of the Blasphemer tier by name. To Pablo Rodriguez, thank you for your support and walking with us on the path less traveled.
And don't forget to join us on the next episode where we have a special guest, the Witch of Southern Light, Marshall, to talk about his new book, The Diary of an American Witch, where we'll get to talk about the creation and aspects of this amazing book in various regards with them. So I'm really excited for that. And then the week after, maybe, actually, these might both change. The dates are both changing probably.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll find out.
You'll know by next week.
Yeah. I will post on Instagram, but we're also going to have Frankie, the Chaotic Witch, on as well. So the next few episodes do have quite a few fantastic guests, but scheduling is always a nightmare when you're in different parts of the country. So keep an eye out on social media for that and updates regarding that. But yeah, we'll catch you then.
And we want to hear from you. Share your stories, encounters with spirits, or your own forbidden rituals. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Unsanctioned Podcast, or email us directly at podcastunsanctioned@gmail.com.
Remember, what's considered taboo is often where strength and power lies. Stay unbound, stay unsanctioned.
Until next time, walk boldly into the shadows.
And let the forbidden be your guide.